Hey guys, welcome back to another week of What's for Dinners. For this week, I did 2 crockpot and then 2 fairly simple. One of them you could even consider a one pot meal, depending on how you choose to cook it. But they all ended up being really, really good. And like I said, really simple. The crockpot meals are some that I made. I have made them on days that I worked. Pretty easy. I think I'm actually looking at the list of what I have made, and actually Glenn just had to make a few things for the beef tip night. But one day we had taco pasta, the other we had some crockpot beef tips, and then another night we had crockpot ranch pork chops and potatoes. All just dump it in and go. And then we also had a pizza stromboli. I originally tried to make a calzone, but that didn't work out the way I had planned it to, so it turned into a stromboli. It was still delicious. It was still really easy, and I paired it with a cucumber salad on the side, just some cucumbers and some grape tomatoes. Anywho, we'll get into that, but let's go ahead and get into it now, actually.
This is the night of the Crockpot Ranch pork chop and potatoes. Pretty simple, straightforward. I used sirloin chops for this one. It was really good. So this night was the calzone slash stromboli that I was telling you guys about. And as you can see, I'm doing this on an upside down pizza pan. That's right, it's upside down. I don't have like a pizza stone or anything like that, but this actually does a really good job. If you don't have that, and I'm just rolling it out, and then what I'm going to do is around the edges I'm going to kind of stretch it and just kind of let it fall. That way it gets some pliability to it and I can kind of manipulate it to do what I want it to do. um but yeah, just get that all stretched out, and you can obviously do this on a rectangular cookie sheet, but I just went ahead and used this since I had already used it earlier that day. And then you just basically you'll end up dressing it up like you would a up baking it at the temperature that the can of pizza crust called for, and I honestly just eyeballed it and paired it up with a creamy tomato and cucumber salad. It was delish. So on this day was the Crockpot beef tips, and all I'm doing is taking half a packet of the stew meat, and I'm just going to get that into the Crockpot. And this packet was a little over 2.5 pounds. So after I get all that in there, and this ended up making a lot still. It was so delicious, but as you can tell, kind of like the size, this is the chunkier bits of the stew meat. I do think that different not restaurants, but I think different stores make finer ones. But that other half, I just put it in a freezer bag and popped it in the freezer, and that is actually planned for another meal. And I'm just taking 2 packets of the reduced sodium gravy, and I'm just mixing that up with 2 cups of water, basically reading the directions on the back of them and going with that. But I'm going to mix it up really good. Just pour it in there with your meat. Honestly, no seasoning is even required, but if you would want to brown up this meat with seasoning beforehand in a real hot skillet, I think that would add a whole nother layer of flavor. So I just make sure they're all submerged. That way nothing dries out. And then I'm just going to pop the lid on. And then I cook this on high for 4 hours. And it was awesome.
Hey guys, tonight we're going to do a taco pasta. And we're just going to get right into it. So I'm using a pound of 90-10 ground sirloin. I've used ground turkey, ground chicken, like any kind of ground meat will work. And then a packet of reduced sodium taco seasoning just to make things easier. And I'm going to use half of this ranch packet. And then I like the corkscrew type of pastas whenever I want to make a hearty dish, because I feel like the corkscrew really holds on to the mixture. And then some mild rotel, and then a can of no salt added diced tomatoes over here. And then at the end, I'm going to mix in some Mexican style cheese and some sour cream. So let's get into it.
and this is our finished product. Taco pasta is such a favorite in our house, and you can honestly do this as a one pot meal, but I like to cook that starch off and drain it off. But I'm just topping it with some veggies, and I will top it with a little sour cream, and that's all she wrote, folks.
I hope I gave you guys some sort of inspiration for the week ahead. I know sometimes we can get in a really bad slump sometimes where we want to just keep making the same things over and over again because it's just quick to buy it, quick to make. We know everybody likes it, but these were actually really good. I would definitely work them into another rotation of dinners. And if you liked what you seen, definitely subscribe. And thank you so much for viewing. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.